Hello everyone, I'm Jasmine. Let us read Stand By Me, Chapter 4, Part 2. That's my birthday gift. Ruhi sent a message on their family WhatsApp group with a photograph in which she was flaunting her new ring. Karthik and Deepika were both on their way home from work, but responded by sending heart emojis. Ruhi put the ring in a drawer in her bedroom and went into the kitchen for a snack. Ruhi put the ring in a drawer in her bedroom and went into the kitchen for a snack. Finding nothing to eat, she picked up a bottle of juice and went back to her room. Relaxing on the bed, she messaged Mahir. I reached home. Thank you for the wonderful day and the most precious gift. I'm always going to flaunt it. And don't forget, you have to start saving for my 25th birthday gift. Love you so much. I don't know if someone else would have done all that you do for me, but now that I have you, I don't want anyone else. Be mine always. After gulping down her juice, she went into the bathroom. As she turned the shower on, she thought she heard someone entering the house and bolting the door behind them. Deepika, is it you? Ruhi shouted from inside the washroom, turning the shower off so she could hear better. No one responded, but she could hear a few noises. She was sure someone had entered the house. She called out again, Karthik, are you home? Who is it? There was no response. Frightened, Ruhi dried herself with a towel and wrapped it around her body. She double-checked that the bathroom door was locked from the inside and switched off the lights. Luckily, she had a habit of taking her phone along when she took a shower, putting it on silent so as not to make any sound. She messaged on the siblings' WhatsApp group. Someone's in the house. I'm hiding in the bathroom. Please come home soon. I'm scared. Ruhi was terrified, trapped in what felt like the perfect scenario for an 80s thriller movie. She didn't want to call anyone in case the intruder heard her speak. Forehead creased with worry, sweat running down her face and neck. She listened to the intruder stomp down the corridor that led to the other bedroom. The house was silent as death but for the sound of his movements. He must be a burglar, she thought, looking for valuables to steal. If that was true, he would find a few thousand rupees in the unlocked drawer in Karthik's bedroom. But no! She could hear the intruder retracing his steps and entering a bedroom. Ruhi suddenly had a gut feeling that he was searching for one thing and one thing only, her. She cowered behind the shower curtains as she saw the bedroom lights being switched on and off. The man was relentless. She just wished someone would arrive soon and put an end to this terror. Deepika and Karthik had already talked to the phone about Ruhi's message. Karthik kept calling her as he drove the rest of the way, but none of his calls were picked up. He sped down the Korean highway, fearing the worst. Ruhi could see her brother's call but was too scared to pick up. The intruder would hear her voice and might try to break open the bathroom door. But her silence gave Karthik a terrible anxiety attack. Who could it be? A thief or someone who had gone there with the intention of hurting Ruhi? In either case, Ruhi was in danger and he simply had to reach home before she was harmed in any way. But fate had other plans for Karthik. Before he could exit the highway, the cops stopped his car. He thought desperately that he would fly and pay the fine later as time was slipping through his fingers, but they had set up a barricade across the road, just a routine inspection, but the cops had already seen him using his mobile phone while driving well past the speed limit. License? No one of the cops asked. Karthik handed it over and asked what the matter was. Did you check the speed limit while driving? Also, the department has put up huge hoardings telling you not to use your mobile while driving. I assume you know the rules, the cop said in a firm voice as he checked Karthik's license and papers. Sir, I have to leave. Please resolve this matter here. My sister is in trouble, Karthik pleaded. Everyone has some urgent work lined up when they caught. Don't fool around, the cop said, unmoved by Karthik's pleas. Agonized at the thought of what Ruhi must be going through, he tried to call her again in the midst of all the confusion. Again the call went unanswered. By then, Deepika too was not picking up calls, making him even more anxious. Suddenly his phone beeped. It was a message from Ruhi. There's a lot of noise. I feel like I'll black out any minute now. Come soon. Karthik was plunged into a state of darkness where his eyes could see, but the inside of his head was just pitch black. He could barely breathe, as if his thoughts were clogging his throat, blocking his airway and suffocating him from inside, crawling like little worms that were killing him very slowly. Then, out of nowhere, he heard someone calling his name. Karthik! He looked up and saw it was a young, uniformed officer who had called out his name. Karthik didn't know what to say. He couldn't remember having met him before. What's wrong? The officer asked Karthik before turning to his colleague to say what happened with him. After taking the other cop aside for a quick discussion, the officer handed Karthik's license and papers back to him, saying, I am Tushar, the area in charge officer, and Deepika's boyfriend. I think she told you about us today night. Karthik simply nodded, not knowing how to react. Whether to greet him or explain the situation to him, he chose the latter as there was no time for formalities. Ruhi is in trouble, someone just. Before he could finish, Tushar interrupted. She's fine. Deepika reached home just a few minutes ago and found her unconscious in the bathroom. Looks like the guy was a burglar. I have told Deepika to lodge a complaint at the local police station. Karthik was too overwhelmed to comprehend what was happening. Should he believe Deepika's boyfriend, who had every reason to tell him the truth and to help him, or should he simply rush home to see for himself? This time, too, he chose the latter, but not before thanking Tushar. He rushed into the house as soon as he had parked the car. Deepika was sitting beside Ruhi, who was fast asleep on her bed. He looked around. Everything in the room was scattered. It was a burglar, Deepika informed him, and only some cash had been stolen, as the jewelry was inside a locker with a digital code. However, hearing the noises outside the bathroom, Ruhi had blacked out. She was all right now, Deepika added. Karthik was almost in tears as he looked down at Ruhi. He was just grateful that nothing had happened to her.